I remember this conversation where Fernando goes, "Hey, I gotta," because we shot Got Your Six in June, and then we're gonna shoot the other movie in August. He was like, "Hey, man, you did a really good job at producing. I really want you to help me produce this project." And I said, "No." And then he was like,
"No, you didn't say no."
I said no. I was like,
mean,
that movie, that sounds so amazing, but I want to be DP on it. And then you're like,
That
I don't
was
know.
for I'm leaving her.
ouch.
Yeah, I'm leaving her. Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny because the first and I'm gonna get Val into this in a second, which is the next movie, but that's one big thing for a director, to know where each person can shine and can be their best. And I hadn't really seen much work from Emmanuel, but when we worked together on Got Your Six, I was like, right, maybe this kid's not just the AD that we think he is, or he's gonna just, because he, first, I think even more than now, I think you're still organized, but now you're more of an artist like us. So the more you progress into the creativity, the more you lose that organization skill, I feel like. So in the beginning, you
it's like a spirit possesses you, and you start getting just so messy.
One gets better, the other one gets worse. So Emmanuel would come to me with those like call sheets, and like he would the
man is talented. No. Like, Emmanuel knows how to do that.
He would come to me and like, no, he definitely knows how to do it, but now he's more focused on the visuals, and that's fine.
Yeah,
he can't do everything. But I remember he would come to me with this like, so at 11:55 we're gonna have the first call for lunch. I was like, damn, this guy's good. And he would bring a lot of stuff. He would always bring more than I asked. So for me, that was it. That was him. Because for a director, it has to be really clear. Sometimes you find some specific ability that you didn't see, but for them, I was like, all right, that's what he likes to do. He's good at that. He's too organized to be a DP or a director like myself. That's just his thing. But then he told me he wanted to do it. We did Got Your Six together where I was the DP, and he was showing me he knew a lot of stuff. And I was like, hold on, this guy. So then we did I'm Leaving Her, and then what happened, Emmanuel, with that film? What did we win?
We won Best Cinematography, I think, for that film.
Ooh.
And the wild thing is, not to like, not give us any credit, but like once you watch a movie after a year, you're like, what the fuck is this? Especially when it's a short film.
Dude.
I want to give, not even like necessarily give myself credit in this aspect, but give my younger version the credit of like having ambition that I kind of miss about myself in a certain way, where it's like, you're brand new, everything's so gleamy-eyed, and when you're put in a position, you do 110%. So that PA job, I did 110%, that first one. That AD job, I did 110%. That AC producer job on Got Your Six, I did 110%. And then that DP job, I did 110%. And all these different positions weren't necessarily positions that I wanted to be in, but I wanted to kind of prove my passion so hard that you would do them, and then you would see the faces in the people, and then you would see who else does it, and then you grow with them, which is something that I still think I do a lot. But once you're kind of in this industry and in this field, you start kind of losing that in a funny way. And I feel so like, I don't feel old and grumpy, but now I feel like, damn, like if I had that full on drive that 3 or 4 years ago me had, imagine the stuff we could do. And because I don't think I'm as organized anymore as I was back then.
You're not.
So
You're not. I can tell you that you're not. You're still organized, but just it's not the same thing. But 100%, I think the drive that we had is different. And then if we could get that with the skills that we have now, but at the same time, though, I think that we were doing any job for no money. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
And that's also a difference.
But just because how Emmanuel say it, we were trying to prove so hard that we really want to do this, because we got to realize it before it ourselves. Like one day I was like, okay, you know what, 110% on this, because like throughout my life, I don't know you guys, but in my experience, I had like a lot of things my parents will put me in, like music, and I regret sometimes like I didn't keep up with music just because I was a rebel kid. That's my only, like, I was like, nah, I want to play, like, I could be, mastering piano classes, but I prefer to just play tennis or just hang around and play with dogs. I don't know. And I don't blame my younger self, but at this point I was like, when I start feeling how I start mastering a skill, meaning I don't suck that much, because it's not like, oh, I became so good. It was like I start slowly getting, a voice and everything. I was like, yeah, I don't want to quit this anymore. So after that mindset, like, swap, I think every time, ever since I had a gig or unpaid gig, I'll be, like, so into it, stressing even the night before, just because I'm so passionate to get it done. So I think that's the only place people really get your vibe on, especially on set, because you can be blah blah blah. I went to the school, I did this, I shot this film, but you might have like a really off energy, and then
that sounded
you
like
really
me.
want to talk to people.
Are you trying to? Are you trying to? That sounded like me.
Yep.
So with all that energy that we had in the beginning of our careers, we noticed that within each other, and that's definitely something I noticed separately on Emmanuel and then on Val. And with I'm Leaving Her, we got to win, like Emmanuel was saying, best cinematography, which he was saying, hey, I look back at this movie and it's not, really something that I would be proud of if I did it now. But I think it was part of not only having that passion, but experimenting. If you watch that, you're going to see that we experimented with all kinds of lights. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but that's how you got to go through that learning curve to get to where you are. And like Val was saying, not being scared to experiment, not being scared to go out and put your face out there and give it your best, I think is part of it. But then as I was seeing that, I started seeing how Brooke was showing me that she wanted to act more. And I do want to say Brooke back then was doing art direction for us. So we also she won an award with Shannon for best makeup and best art direction for that film as well, from Leaving Her. And I gotta say I won best editing, so I'm sorry, I had to say. But we got nominated. We got nominated for best film. We got nominated for best.
We got second place in that festival of all the awards. We got what, like 3 or 4 awards compared to the person who got like 5. And if we got one of their awards, then it would have just swapped from what places we were.
Yeah, and we got like 11 nominations, so it was great. And I realized that the thing that was lacking was the storytelling aspect, and that's how I also started to devote more time to learning that really and improving at that craft. But I was seeing that Val was really great at that other side of things that we didn't have somebody at that moment to do, which was not necessarily the art direction itself, but the lighting really, and working as a gaffer. So I was meeting her through advertising inside the agency, and I already had Emmanuel wanting to keep doing cinematography. So I had this idea to make this film called The Blue Room. It was a random afternoon. I was with my friend Lindsay from Think, and we were just talking about these technologies, and AI wasn't even a thing how it is now, 2-3 years ago. And now, I mean, it's huge. Everybody talks about it all the time. But we were already way ahead of the game, guys.
Yeah.
What I said.
We were way ahead.
So we were talking about that. We came up with a story about this boy that's playing video games and he's stuck in his room. How can we shoot that in one room? And I was gonna come to Brazil, so we had to do it in like one place. So we did it in my apartment. It was this whole thing. But I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce these 2 very creative, very talented Venezuelans I know. They're kind of nice. And they're going to love each other.
What do you mean kind of? We're the fucking best.
They're not gonna know it right away, but they're going to end up being great friends. So it was the funniest thing because I brought Emmanuel and I brought Val. and we went to
We
get
went
tacos.
to tacos. Yeah, I can't forget.
And they were, I know they're shy, so I knew they were gonna be super shy when I introduced them. And then a few months later, they're best friends. A few years later, working on stuff together.
I don't even remember us being that shy when we talked. I just remember we were talking about the film, to be honest. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in that meeting.
No, I mean, you guys were, I mean, Val, you can take it from here, but I think you guys are not, I mean, I talk a lot and I get to know people and I just introduce them and I do all that networking. And Emmanuel, you're, I think, more doing that more now, but I think back then, not as much. So I think when I first introduced you guys, you were kind of like, I'm going to work with her. And she's like, I'm going to work with you. And I'm like, yeah, that's the team. You don't get to pick your gaffer. I picked it.